Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in this short video, I'm going to walk through the changes we found in the latest update in Rise of Kingdoms. And if there's anything else that we discover, either you in the comments or I on my own, or somebody sends me a message, I will update the pinned comment with any other little tidbits that are discovered for this latest update. All right, so first thing we're looking at is this sort of power breakdown, and this is available when you tap on your power. Okay, within your profile, you get your power breakdown. Now, for an endgame player like me, I don't know how this would be helpful, but for an early game player who's trying to figure out what they should be doing, this might be relevant. And it gives me an overall rating relative to other governors in my kingdom. So I'm higher than 99.5% of governors on commanders, higher than 99.8% of governors on equipment. It is kind of wild that more players have more commanders than I do. Actually, that kind of makes sense. I haven't gotten a mightiest governor first place allocation in 100,000 years. So it actually kind of makes sense. People don't realize this, but I request and get very little mightiest governor priority. And that's not here in 2377. I just got here. That's, historically. Equipment, 99.8% of governors I'm better than, and then 99.6% of governors. Man, 0.4% of governors have better armaments than me. Let's go to the next thing, though. I think I've seen enough there. The next thing that was pointed out to me by an Alliance member, shout out 2377, is that when the update notes said they were putting conversion stones in the shop, they actually quite literally meant the shop, and the shop is the full gem price. The full gem price is 10,000 gems. Holy... that is pricey, but very significant that you can just buy these here now. And you might be like, Chisgule, how is that significant? Well, for an appropriately, we'll say, sized whale, right? They can just gem their way to switching a formation from one, all four pieces from one type to another. And you can make your decisions as to whether or not you want to buy the bundle for these things now, or if you buy other bundles and spend gems on these things, if that's what you're even going to do, which I don't know. Most people are not going to drop the gems over here, I would think. I think that if you're going to be getting these things, you probably want to be spending money. But if you are free to play, now you have an option. I think it's just really expensive. The best option for conversion stones most likely is KVK rewards over time. That's probably it, right? For most F2P low spend, which brings us to title bots. And I had to I don't know how to describe this, bumble my way around the Lost Temple to figure it out. But I figured out okay, I got to click the gear, and I made it to the title section after a noob first going to the buff section. But eventually, and then the king skill section. Finally, I was like, oh yeah, upper left titles, obviously. You noob. And then I went in, I was like, oh, I got to hit these gears, right? So the gears show what the settings are. And then I thought, oh, our kingdom must not have these turned on or something. I get I know it says applications allowed, but I guess we just it's just not active or something. But then I literally accidentally clicked on one of the titles. And I was like, oh, I can request a title. Who knew? So I can request for 5 minutes here. Let's apply. Oh, it's pending approval. Wait, it's not auto-approved? The architect. I can cancel my request. That's kind of neat. So, long story, you can apply for a title up to 7 days in advance. You cannot apply for a title if you already hold one. Okay. You can only apply for one title at a time. Cool. I think this is an awesome feature. And once you figure out where this is, it's going to be a huge win. Yeah, you can schedule many days in advance. That's so cool. This title needs approval. Get wrecked. So what about the training buff? Does that require approval right now? Needs approval. Oh, okay. So everything is set to needs approval. Okay. All right, cool. Titles. I'm happy to see that. Now, in addition to those changes, we also have an Edward of Woodstock text change, baby. And I actually applaud this transparency into this change. Because, ninja changes make people think that you're sneaky, and you don't want players to think that you're being sneaky, especially for an Edward of Woodstock skill. So I think this new language looks really, really clear. Whenever this commander uses this skill, that to me feels really, really clear. Their troop loses 300 rage, cannot drop below 0, right? Like, if I were wording this in a way such that it could not be misinterpreted, now somebody's going to figure it out in the comments. But like, this to me feels like an extremely well-written portion of this description. Really cool. And I actually did go and test this. I also did test his expertise because, like, for a long time, I don't know, his expertise said one thing and did something else, but they fixed that. And so I pulled up a report. We can go look at it. But when he uses his active skill, where did I do that? This barb here. Yeah, see, Edward of Woodstock secondary. Crazy, right? So if we swing in over here, you can see all or nothing is the expertise. It is, in fact, doing 50% more normal damage and 50% counterattack damage. Dude, I wonder if there's no play where you make him a secondary and you do weird smitey things, but whatever. But this ends up being a grand total of 100% counterattack damage, which is kind of nuts, right? You could interpret this as 50% basic damage and 100% counterattack damage, which is crazy. But if I swing on through here, we should see, there it is, 300 rage lost. Cast Archer's Honor, level 5, for a big 1,250 damage factor, baby. We're getting them good now, for sure. Triggered all or nothing. Yep. Pretty cool. And if we look at the other active skill from ya boy Lohar, we do not see a 300 rage drop. So there it is. Very cool. Those are the big changes that I found. And like, obviously looking at the text of Edward of Woodstock is not a big change, but like I said, like, I love the transparency, and I keep being a little bit critical, but also very positive at the tail end of every one of my videos where I'm like, hey, look, the developers keep talking about things and making those things better. So the fact that developers have been talking about armaments and formations and kingdoms and their size and like a ton of crystal technology, a dozen like really critical topics. Dude, I think there could be some really cool changes coming to the game. And if you want to see the video where I covered that in depth, I'll have a card in the end screen in just a minute. I actually didn't have a video go live yesterday because I had family in town visiting. And let me tell you something. I barbecued up a storm. And I don't know, I'm going to be honest, like, moment of vulnerability. I think there was like some part of my subconscious that thought, I don't know, like, my dad, if he were still alive, would really love that I got into smoking meat and barbecuing. And, you know, his brother was in town, my uncle. And so I just like cooked up a storm, man. And it's just what I wanted to do. But like somewhere in my subconscious, it must tie these things together where it's like, oh, it's his brother. Maybe he'd appreciate it. But he, you know, both of them, my father and his brother, really enjoyed eating. And really, it's more like cooking and eating, quite frankly. And you know, that's because my, you know, grandparents were Holocaust survivors, and like they suffered tremendously. I mean, unbelievably. I mean, if I told the stories, you literally would not believe what they had to go through. But I mentioned that because, you know, like growing up, they got fed a lot of food because it was like unbelievable to even have food. And so, yeah, I think that like that just carried on generation to generation where as an adult, my dad was really into cooking because like his parents just like packed them full of food. And then, you know, here I am cooking lots of food. Someone pointed out there's one more update here. A new pop-up when people apply to the Alliance. Well, that's kind of neat. Anyways, you enjoyed the video, throw a like on here, subscribe. I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep that last little bit that I just shared in the video or not. TBD. I think I keep it in. Might have been an overshare, but whatever. I had a good weekend. Long story short, I had a good weekend. And that's why there wasn't a video yesterday. And we'll get back on track for this week. All right. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.